I think the last question I have is that you said he sees the rest of the division and it's easy money, except for you. Is he easy money for you? And is there anybody in this division that is not easy money for you?
It's gonna be cocky if I will say he's easy money. I think he's not. He's a good fighter.
Umar Nurmagomedov isn't holding back as he responds to Merab Dvalishvili's silence and comments about easy money, calling out his opponent for avoiding the fight. Umar Nurmagomedov, reflecting on his upcoming title fight, expressed how surreal it felt to finally have the fight scheduled. Although excited and happy, he admitted that he still couldn't quite believe it was happening. After years of hard work, the opportunity to fight for the title was now a reality.
You got a date, you got an opponent, and you know this thing you've been working towards is a real thing now.
Can't believe yet. And of course I'm excited and I'm very happy to fight for the title.
When asked about his opponent, Merab, Umar said that he didn't expect him to be angry when they were around each other in Las Vegas. He saw them as just two fighters, but Merab's reaction seemed emotional. Merab had spoken about disrespect, calling Umar a bad person, but Umar didn't understand why. He clarified that he only talked about the fight itself, not personal issues.
I don't think he expecting it. I think it's just we two opponents, you know, like it's a little bit emotional, you know. We don't know why he's talking about disrespect, bad person or something. I talk about fight. I thought, hey, Merab, you try to avoiding me. You doesn't mention my name. It's look like insane. Everybody talk about that.
Umar found it strange that after Merab won the belt, he didn't mention Umar's name when discussing his next opponent. Instead, he thanked the promoter. Umar felt that Merab was avoiding him and not acknowledging him as a real threat.
After his fight, when he win belt, Joe Rogan said, next opponent, Umar, what do you think about that? And he doesn't say nothing. He just said, thank you, Dana White. And it's not of all hype around, he ducking, he tried to avoid it. It's not of because of I do this. He do this. It's his mistakes. Proverb about cowards.
When asked if he was worried that Merab might pull out of the fight, Umar said he wouldn't be surprised, though he hoped it wouldn't happen. Still, he believed the fight would go ahead as planned.
I will not surprise. I hope he will not, and it's a fight gonna happen.
Umar also reflected on how the fight was originally planned to take place before Ramadan, but he had started to think it might happen after Ramadan in May. Now that it's confirmed, he's focused and ready for January 18th.
In your mind, had you kind of had given up on the idea that this fight would happen before Ramadan, though? Like in your mind, had you kind of been like, this fight
yes,
is not
it was a plan, fight before Ramadan, and after Ramadan in May. Maybe.
Regarding Merab's statement that he sees everyone in the division as easy money except for Umar, Umar responded carefully. He acknowledged that Merab was a good fighter but didn't consider him easy money. However, Umar mentioned that the hardest challenge in the division, in his opinion, was Corey Sandhagen. He already faced Corey Sandhagen in one of the toughest battles of his career, but now he's focused on his next challenge.
It's gonna be cocky if I will say he's easy money. I think he's not. He's a good fighter, you know. But hardest challenge in my division, I think, is Cody.
It's Cody?
Yes.
And you already got through him?
This fight was the hardest in my life. It's gonna be what happened 18 January.
Michael Bisping explained that, although he initially leaned toward picking Umar, he changed his stance after witnessing Merab's performance at UFC 310. Bisping noted how Merab displayed passion, even getting fired up with the crowd and at the press conference. He feels Merab is very motivated and serious about the fight, while Bisping admitted that he might be wrong. He's backing Merab to prevail against Umar, just for fun.
Nurmagomedov. Yeah, I'm going to switch this one up as well, because I had Umar, because he is undefeated and all the rest of it. But I like what I saw from Merab at UFC 310. I liked seeing him kicking off in the crowd. I liked seeing him lose his mind at the press conference, and he's taking it so personal and so serious. I believe he does it. I think Merab gets through him. Maybe I'm wrong, but just for the fun, that's what we'll say.
Nick Pete initially leaned towards Merab, but after considering Umar's undefeated streak and momentum, he changed his opinion. Pete noted that Umar's dominance, combined with his unstoppable momentum, will likely lead him to become the champion by the end of 2025.
Last year, I was dying to stick with Merab, but I just think the unbeaten momentum of Umar Nurmagomedov cannot be stopped. They matched up at the start of the year as well. I'm going with Umar, champion, end of 2025.
Adam Catterall, who initially picked Umar to win, reconsidered after seeing Merab's intense attitude and confrontations with others. Merab's fiery demeanor and emotional responses made Catterall second-guess his choice. Despite being influenced by Merab's passion and determination, Catterall ultimately stuck with his original prediction of Umar winning, believing that Umar's skill set and undefeated momentum would lead him to victory in the end.
He's going to be Umar, but I might change my mind now, having seen that Merab's kicking off with everybody, that he's going against him and
Mike's just
picking
said
other
that.
fellas.
Mike's just said exactly what you're saying now.
But I'm going with Umar. No, he's going with Merab.
Oh, you're going to stick with Umar, are you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Umar.
UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier praised Merab's relentless fighting style, calling him the Machine due to his unyielding pace and constant pressure. Cormier admired Merab's cardio, resilience, and ability to overwhelm opponents with takedowns. He firmly believes Merab is a formidable challenge for anyone, particularly because of his relentless pace. He stated, "Merab Dvalishvili is an absolute monster. His name is the Machine, and he is a machine. And I tell you this much, he is tough for anyone. Because of his pace, his pressure, his cardio, and his ability to spam takedowns. He just likes to spam takedowns. He is the guy that you play in a video game that you throw and break controllers because he will not stop. He will not stop. He just keeps going and going and going and going." Lucas Tracy made a bold prediction, picking Umar to win 50-45 against Merab, suggesting he will dominate each round. He cited Merab's recent performance and Umar's impressive showing against Corey Sandhagen as key reasons for his pick.
I'm picking Umar by 50-45. I am picking Umar Nurmagomedov to 50-45 Merab Dvalishvili at UFC 311 to take every single round from him. And yes, a big part of that has to do with Merab's last performance, and it also has to do with Umar's schooling of Corey Sandhagen.
Sean O'Malley shared his thoughts, stating that while Umar has the potential to defeat Merab, he's not completely certain. He acknowledged Umar's strength, but pointed out that his skills didn't seem extraordinary. O'Malley mentioned that Umar is competent, but not exceptional, with strength being the decisive factor in their previous encounter. He added that he would reassess his position when he returns to the division.
Do you think Umar would beat him?
I do think Umar might beat him low-key, which kind of, I mean, it is what it is. We'll see where I'm at, or where the division's at when I get back, but I think Umar definitely could beat Merab. He's not great. He's just good. He felt strong, but his skills didn't feel like great. He just felt stronger than me, and it is what it is, but yeah.
Joaquin Buckley acknowledged both fighters' strong grappling abilities, but believed Merab's additional tools would give him the edge. He expressed interest in seeing how Umar's conditioning holds up against Merab's intense pace, noting that in grappler matchups, fighters sometimes switch to striking. Buckley speculated that Merab might use his striking to demonstrate his superiority in the fight.
That's a good one as well, you know. But I think Merab got a little bit more tools, you know, that he can use. And I'm especially intrigued just to see how Umar's conditioning compares to Merab as well. So, you know, as much as, you know, I would think that, you know, both of these guys will go out there grappling. You know, one thing that my brother Edric Diller will always say, when you got two grapplers in the cage, they eventually think they strikers, you know. So I can see Merab, you know, putting on a little striking clinic on Umar.
Kamaru Usman expressed respect for Umar's mindset, relating to the challenges and doubts he faced early in his career. Usman shared his support for Umar, offering his best wishes as he rises through the bantamweight ranks and possibly follows in the footsteps of other successful members of the Nurmagomedov family.
I like your just mentally, I like where you're at, and I like the way you think about it, because I was in a similar position to where I wanted to fight with Wonder Boy at the time, and they said the same thing to me: don't deserve it. And I wanted to fight with everybody in the top 5, and they say the same thing to me: you don't deserve it. Don't deserve it. No, I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight him.
Lucas Thomas described the fight as highly competitive, with both fighters offering something unique. He highlighted Merab's unmatched, relentless pace, while acknowledging that Umar is well-conditioned but doesn't possess the same type of endurance. Thomas believes that Umar's ability to scramble and strike could challenge Merab, but noted that Umar has never faced someone with Merab's skills. He also praised Merab's toughness, which has been evident in his impressive UFC run.
It's a competitive fight. I mean, it's a competitive fight in either direction. You've got both guys have something to offer the other one. In the case of Merab, as I mentioned, a motor like there has absolutely never been one in MMA. And Umar doesn't necessarily have that, although he is well conditioned. but I think his ability to scramble underneath, to stop takedowns and strike on the feet could be a bit of a problem. However, I'm going to say it one more time. He has not fought a guy as good as Merab, just matter-of-factly. And for Merab, man, you really got to admire the grit here by this guy, really taking on, I mean, just consider his murderer's run up to this point.
Billy Quarantillo shared his pick for Merab, expressing confidence in his Long Island teammate. While he acknowledged Umar's success and pedigree, Quarantillo believed Merab could neutralize Umar's wrestling and that his pace would be a decisive factor in the fight.
I'm going to take the Long Island boy Merab in that one just because he's my boy. I think Umar, obviously, he has the pedigree, and he has a great in all of his fights. But I think Merab can kind of neutralize his wrestling a little bit more than anyone else could. And with Merab's pace, I think he can get that one done. Obviously, he's probably going to be an underdog, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm going to rock with my guy, Merab, in that one.
Joshua Van also picked Merab to win, sharing a personal connection with him and expressing his support, which led him to choose Merab for the fight.
Merab is cool as shit, you know what I mean? So I had a moment with him in the back room and stuff like that, so I have to go with Merab, man.
Adrian Yanez predicted Merab's victory, believing his superior cardio would be the deciding factor. While he admitted it's difficult to compare the fighter's skills, Yanez emphasized that Merab's conditioning would ultimately tip the scales in his favor.
I will pick Merab, and I will base it just completely off of cardio.
Okay.
Just because skill-wise, I don't know. It's all over the place for me.
Jamie Lynn Horth supported Merab for the win, citing his momentum from his recent performance and his tools to secure the victory, which boosted his confidence in Merab's victory.
Merab, he just coming off that last one, and I think he's going to got the momentum, and I think he's got the tools and the style, so I'm going to take Merab on that as well.
Dominic Cruz spoke highly of Merab, describing him as the type of champion he admires. Cruz emphasized that Merab is always ready to face any opponent, continuously promoting the division and striving to elevate it. He highlighted Merab's relentless and action-packed fighting style, pointing out that while his approach is tough, it is effective. Merab forces the pace with his grappling, making him a formidable challenge for any fighter.
I like Merab a lot. I like the type of champion that he just is in general. He's willing to take all customers. He's promoting the division, doing the best he can with that. And he fights non-stop action. Now it's tough, what you're saying is true.
Yeah.
He forces the grappling, right?
Cruz also praised Merab's impressive takedown numbers and superior cardio, noting that these attributes have yet to be tested in Umar's previous matchups. When asked if Umar's lack of experience would be exposed against Merab, Cruz disagreed. He argued that experience isn't everything. Rather, it's the work a fighter puts in during training that truly matters. Cruz pointed out that Merab, having trained with Khabib Nurmagomedov, is likely one of the most tested fighters in the UFC, with Khabib being a tough and challenging training partner.
That's an unreal amount of takedowns. And the cardio, the gas tank, right? This is the things we haven't seen tested with Umar in his past few bouts.
You think his inexperience is going to show in this fight?
Umar's?
Nurmagomedov?
I don't think he's inexperienced. I think it comes down to what we were talking about, which is what you did in the gym before you get into that fight. And I think that the most tested human beings probably in
How
the
do you
UFC.
prepare for Merab, though?
Well, you've trained with Khabib. Khabib's nasty. He's just miserable to train with.
Joe Rogan praised Umar's potential to become the champion, highlighting his skill and his dominant win over Thiago Barcelos, which impressed many. Rogan emphasized that a clash between Merab and Umar would be crucial for the bantamweight division, possibly launching Umar to the top. He also pointed out the distinct fighting styles between Umar and Khabib Nurmagomedov, noting that while Khabib's style is known, Umar brings a different yet equally impressive approach.
And Umar has a real potential to be the champion. He really does, man. He's good, dude. And Honey Barcelos is no joke.
Yeah.
Honey is really good, and for him to take him out like that,
nobody's
very,
ever
very
beat him
impressive.
like that.
No.
And
yeah, Merab versus Umar is interesting. That would be the big fight to get Umar right to the top.
Think about like what you've got now with like Nurmagomedov. He steps down, but then you have Umar.
He looks great.
Phenomenal. Completely different style.
Yep.
UFC featherweight champion Aljamain Sterling expressed concerns about the fight being rushed and booked on short notice. He believes that fighters put in a lot of hard work to become champions and should be given adequate time to prepare properly for defending their title. Aljamain Sterling stated, "This fight is being made on 6 weeks' notice? Maybe 6.5. For a title fight? I understand having to do that if you're a challenger, but as a champion, you shouldn't be relegated to those types of stipulations. It's just not right." Aljamain Sterling feels that scheduling a fight too soon raises doubts in the champion's mind about the effort they put in to reach the top. He believes a champion should be given a fair opportunity to prepare properly for their title defense. He further stated, "Then it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, as in, why did I work so hard to get to this position to call the shots or some of the shots? And you're not even getting a fair shake in it. Hopefully we go out there. Knock on wood, Merab does his thing, he takes 0, puts on a great performance, and we can move on from this and on to the next." Davison Figueiredo believes that Merab Dvalishvili's stamina and relentless style will be crucial in wearing down Umar Nurmagomedov during a 5-round fight. Figueiredo argues that Merab's ability to maintain a high tempo throughout the entire fight will give him the advantage, especially as the fight moves into the later rounds. The constant pressure and pace Merab sets could eventually take a toll on Umar's endurance, helping Merab gain the upper hand.
Enxergo o braço do Merab sendo levantado.
I tend more for Merab. The reason why I do this is his strike is not refined, but he manages to use that to tie people and confuse people, and so he can get them down. On the other hand, Umar is a guy that knows how to submit from the bottom, so there is that risk for Merab. But after 5 rounds, I see Merab's hand being raised.
Henry Cejudo believes that Merab Dvalishvili's time as champion is coming to a close, arguing that Umar Nurmagomedov is simply too dangerous for him. Cejudo pointed out that Umar could take Merab down and control him with his striking and awareness of distance. He also criticized Merab's response when asked about facing Umar, saying that he avoided the question and made unrelated remarks. Cejudo emphasized that if Merab doesn't face someone like Umar, the UFC will eventually force the matchup, and his reign as champion could be over.
Merab Dvalishvili, his run is going to run out. Umar is just too dangerous. Umar could take him down as well. He's got good top control. He's got great striking, good distance recognition. And when they asked Merab Dvalishvili the question, you know, Umar Nurmagomedov is here. You know, what do you think about your potential fighting next? He's like, oh, I love the UFC. I love Dana White. Global warming. Let's make America great again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he never really answered the question. If you don't fight a guy like Umar, the UFC is going to make you fight a guy like Umar. Your career as a champion is pretty much done.
Former UFC champion Luke Rockhold, well-versed in what it takes to achieve greatness, picked Umar Nurmagomedov as the favorite for the fight. Rockhold shared his thoughts, expressing confidence in Umar's skills and potential to secure the win. Luke said, "Umar is the next generation where he's so fluid and so creative. This is a tough matchup, a tricky, tough, hard-nosed dude. I think that's where Umar can win. Umar can beat him everywhere, really. He can outstrike him, and then Merab can shoot in. Umar can counter him and get to his back. I'm telling you, he's better than him everywhere, really." Later, Luke Rockhold confidently stated that Umar will have the fight in the bag, predicting he will overpower Merab. Rockhold revealed his belief that Umar's strength and skill would be too much for Merab to handle. He added, "When you think about it, you go, oh, that's a tough matchup for Umar. But when you start really looking at it, and you're like, he's going to outstrike Merab, and then Merab's going to get frustrated, so he shoots in, Umar's going to counter him, he's probably getting to a dominant position, and then they go back up. I don't see that fight going any other way." So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about UFC 311? What do you think about Merab versus Umar and the main event with Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.